I find here Natasha and Dario. They're maybe here because of a reason. The reason is that today we're gonna shoot a POV video in Punta Galeras here in Ibiza, and we're gonna take photos on the A7S3 and the what, Natasha?
Like and subscribe.
Also that we're gonna shoot on the A7S3 and the A7C. Let's do it. So the viewpoint and the really cool view is over there. But I would recommend you to actually start shooting before you enter to the place where you actually are going to do the shoot, because you might find some hidden gems, and it also tells a little bit more of the story, where you're going, the journey. Wow, the 14 is super awesome to capture the entire landscape here. And Natasha's pretty small in it, but it actually works out very well. The focus is more on the landscape instead of on the character in it. I'm shooting some slow-mo footage now with my Sony A7C and 35mm 1.4. That's one of my favorite lenses to show off the environment and the model at the same time. Shooting with a 35mm now to get like a nice little depth of field with the foreground element. It's pretty awesome because there's a little boat in the background which adds more to the story. And then we have this foreground element which leads nicely to Natasha, who will be the person, the character in the story. As you can see behind me, the cliff is quite far, so we're gonna make our way all the way to the end and then start shooting from there. Oh, there's winds. Oh, it's waving, it's waving. Tasha is already for 3 days wearing these blouses because she wants to have some wind in them. We actually have this wavy effect in slow-mo that always looks super nice. And it's the first time that we have some wind. Woo! Transition time, guys. Where are we? We made it to the first cliff. As you can see, we got some more steps down to go. And that's a little secret passage that Natasha knows there. Take how to get there. There's always a little bit of climbing needed to reach the best shooting spots. Dario wants to take a reveal drone shot from all of us.
I'm gonna make a shot in which the three of us, being Jonah, Natasha and myself, come into the frame one by one. Hit the like button, subscribe to Jonah's channel if you haven't already.
Kind of orange teal myself, guys. Got some blue in the glasses, some orange here in the shirt. Match your clothing a little bit with the style and look you want for your videos, and maybe also the surroundings. Time to do some POV photography, and the first tip is most people actually go to the viewpoint, and then the view that you like the most as a human, that's how they take photos. For example, came to this viewpoint here to see this, and although this is very impressive, very beautiful in real life, a little bit like empty and maybe like boring a little bit on camera, and I way prefer this background because it has so much more layers, depth, texture and all that stuff. Good sweet stuff in it. First setup is a Sony A7C and a 35mm 1.4, one of my favorite lenses for environmental portraits. Oh, Natasha, you look amazing. The colors from the yellow shirt and the red bikini pop super nice. Just textured, layered background. One of the things I reminded myself to do more is not only take standing photos but also sit. And I like these little rocks there. So Natasha, can you go sit on there? You have a little bit more of a story of you sitting here enjoying the view, and then we will have these crazy nice textured rocks in the background. I like this feeling of a little bit loneliness of Natasha just being with herself, enjoying the environment. Really love it. Now we're gonna use this rock here to get a foreground element, then Natasha as a subject, and then we have this nice background here, because that looks really cool. Otherwise sometimes it's just a bit dull, the frame, if there's nothing leading you in, giving that more 3D element to the photo. Now I'll do one of my favorites to get some movement in it, and now it's gonna look extra nice with this blouse of Natasha, because it will wave in the wind, give a lot of motion, and that's really cool to give a more fun feeling to the photo. Just lean on the rock now. Yeah, this looks super awesome now. There's just such nice light on Natasha. Natasha is also further from the background, which creates way more depth to the entire image. One more photo. That's you kind of more laying really and looking into the camera. Yes, I like this a lot, because now not only the rock, the foreground element, but also the hand and the arm of Natasha. You gotta look into the camera really. I got an idea to also be a little bit higher and then have Natasha on that rock again, so we can have the sea as a background. But I will be shooting from up. First shot with the 14mm to really get the entire scenery in. Because honestly, this looks pretty epic. Overused word maybe, but for this location, it really fits. I want this to be a little bit as a foreground element, then Natasha on the rock, and I want to position her that she doesn't get lost in the rock behind her, but that she's really in the blue water, because that's gonna give the best contrast for her red bikini. Now we are shooting with the 35mm, so you guys can see the difference. Dario took some shots more in a straight line, which gives this nice feeling of falling down this rock. Now you can see it that much, but this gives more the depth of how deep the ocean is.
I like it.
I like it too. We're gonna make our way back now, all the way to the other side of the cliff. We have around 30 minutes more of flight, and we're gonna try to grab some last shots. I saw something interesting here. I'll take you along for the shot. So what I like about this location is the boat in the background, the one end of the island, and then actually these stones that give a nice cool leading line to Natasha, as well as these front elements here. So we're now shooting with the 14mm. The couple shots. Now with the 35mm, let's see how that looks. Because that looks really different with the compression and also even like the bokeh and the foreground elements and everything. Both is now really nice behind Natasha, and it's also actually a bit more blue hour now, which gives for a nice moody vibe that I personally kind of prefer for this type of images sometimes. I really like all these rocks as a foreground element. It's something very different, something very unique. So I'm gonna try to take a little bit of a more lower shot to get more of a blurry effect on the rocks. We're now on a 40mm and we want to try to get this as a leading line and Natasha in the water and then the boat in the background. Natasha is a bit scared on the rocks, so we're quickly gonna grab the shot here. There's now really a lot of stuff going on. You have my legs that will be a bit blurry in the foreground element and a nice leading line. Natasha, then the island and the boat in the background, so it's really awesome. Okay, so this is the 35mm, which is really cool. Actually maybe even a little bit too blurry. The boat in the background is almost not visible. Natasha has one last message for you guys. She wanted to do the outro, so here we go.
Cheerio, Nata Vagabond, Jonah Vagabond, ciao ciao, bye bye.
Like and subscribe and see you in the next video.